Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to TGO Podcast. I just want to say thank you so much for listening and supporting me in general. I'm really overwhelmed with the love and positive feedback that I've been receiving lately. Thank you so much. This week's episode is a continuation from episode 6. So if you haven't listened to episode 6, go and have a listen to that before listening to this episode. So it's a conversation with Bernice and Catherine. So yeah, it's just a continuation. So if you haven't listened, like I mentioned, please go back and listen to that. Everything will make sense. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, just so you can keep up with the episodes. I'm trying to put out episodes every week. So yeah, do subscribe to the podcast or follow us on our social media platforms at TGO Podcast. Enjoy this episode.
You see, I went to this party. Someone invited me to a party. Says, "Oh, I'm a DJ." Actually, I met him at a party, and then he was like, "Oh, he wanted to be my friend." I said to him, "Listen." At the time, I had a boyfriend. When I met him, I said I have a boyfriend. He said, "No, he just wants to be my friend." So I was like, "Yeah, cool." So I gave him my number. Now, boil down to maybe when I was still in my relationship, but it was already going like sour, and I already knew. And the way how I deal with relationships, if I feel like it's not working anymore, rather than just doing the whole pull the band-aid, I would take it out gradually. So I'll first of all remove my emotions before I leave. So the thing is, my boyfriend did not realize that.
It's like you're healing before you even leave.
That's it. So I was healing from December up to when I left him. And to him, it was just like he suddenly broke my heart. I was like, okay, if you think so.
Good for you, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to this party. So the guy invited me to the party, and I was like, yeah, cool. Because obviously at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm already done with this relationship anyway, but I'm still healing. So I will let myself heal, and then I will physically tell him, listen, get your ass together or I'm leaving, kind of thing. So I went to this party, and I didn't know that it was a drug party. Listen, God has saved me in this life.
Yeah.
So I went to this party, and when I walked in through the door, I was like, oh, nice place, apartments and stuff. I was like, oh, apartment party! Yeah. You know how it is. And then the next thing I know, some people come in, and then they start putting this shisha thing down. And I'm like, oh God, I'm asthmatic. You know, I start thinking, okay, I need to sit down by the window so that, you know.
Yeah, the smoke doesn't affect you,
So I'm sitting by the window, and then I now start to smell the shisha. It's not actual shisha, it's weed that they're doing like shisha. And I'm like, what is this? I need to leave this place because if police enter here and not jail, do you get that? Was how my head was. I was like, oh my God, I'm not here. So I'm like, okay, I'm watching this thing, and next thing they bring this brownies. I'm like, oh, I'm not someone that likes brownies, but I like cake. So they're kind of close. And then they're like, oh, you want some cake? I was like, it's not cake, it's brownies. So do you want some? I was like, oh, I need to just choose something while I'm waiting for this party to get started. Because at the point, it was still just vibes. So the minute I took a bite, I was like, oh my God, like they didn't even lace it with just small, drugs. It was just like, it was proper just drugs. The whole thing was drugs. And I was like, what is this thing? Yeah. Hey, I was like, no, I don't take drugs. So, and the guy was like, don't you like it? I said, well, really nice, really, really nice. I was looking at them like, so this girl walks in.
The peer pressure.
Yeah, and this is the point where I realized that people like abuse women a lot. Like they take advantage of women very easily. And I'm not trying to say that
how long was it, or what year was this?
This was like last year. This is where, obviously, I'm someone that was abused so many times. Do you get? I already knew that I was abused so many times, but I never really thought that people would abuse someone in the public, like other people are. Like, I usually used to think that they would.
What type of abuse? Like,
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
This is like sexually.
Okay.
I'm sexually abused, and this girl came into the party with this balloon. You know this thing that they I don't know what that thing is. What's it called?
I don't get it.
It's nitro oxide. It's nitrogen oxide. You know, like if you're I don't know. You have children?
No.
So when you give birth.
Oh yeah, gas and air. I've had that before because of
nitrogen and oxygen together.
Oh okay.
But it's in a canister.
So it's
obviously I'm giving out. You know I'm joking. People know this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like with cream.
I've seen the little canisters.
That make
the noise.
So basically, that is blowing. That's what they put in the balloon and then inhale.
Oh, okay. So this girl came in with that. She and her friend. And the minute they came in, and she was laughing so loud, I already knew that this girl was high. And I was like, oh, this girl needs to get a grip. And then I was seeing with this Ivorian girl that she was like, oh, that this girl, the behavior is not nice. And this girl just starts to, you know, throw her body about, like just, you know, when someone is just,
Moving
she
very...
didn't know what she was doing.
Okay.
And then the next thing I realized, boys were proper like pressing, like they
touching her sexually.
They surrounded her, and it got to one point someone actually shifted her pants and put his fingers in. So when I saw that, I got up. And
this is in the club environment?
Not in a club, in a house party.
House party, okay.
So I pulled her friend had gone outside at the point. So I pulled her and I went into a room with her. Now that Ivorian girl was in that room. So I was like, girl, we need to keep this girl. Obviously prior to that, I have dreams.
Yeah.
And the thing is something I don't remember things until it's happening. Then I remember that this is a dream I saw.
Like visions.
I've had that dream before, and I did not realize that I was at the place where it was gonna happen. So I pulled the girl into the room. What in the dream I allowed what happened to her, right? And I just said it's her fault. But at this point, I
you saved her. Yeah.
So I pulled her inside.
Yeah.
And I said I knew this girl was gonna call the police if anybody stepped with her that day. And I knew that she was going to say she would let it happen because there were going to be like a couple guys to do it, and she was going to permit them to do it. Yeah. But the thing is, she would say she was under the influence. Yeah. And so she would withdraw her consent and call the police, and the police is going to come in and take everybody away, including me. Right. So at this point, I was not going to let that happen. So I had to make sure that it didn't happen. So I pulled her, and then that was at the point I pulled her. I realized, oh my god, this is it happening again. Yeah. So I pulled her in the room, and she's like, I need to go outside. I'm having fun. I was having what stupid, silly fun that they're putting fingers up you. And I remember, if I tell her that, she could actually still call the police. Yeah. So I said, okay, sit down. She says, she's having fun. I'm a bitch. Why am I pulling her away from her party? She's having fun. And I
You're
said,
the joy killer.
Yeah. I said, get your head where it's supposed to be. So I called her and I'm like, listen, this girl, they're touching her silly. And they're putting fingers up her. Like if it was just her breast they were pulling and stuff, I would have maybe let it happen. Yeah. But the minute I saw fingers,
you shouldn't even let that happen.
No, I'm saying like because obviously she might be the one giving them her boobs for them to do it. So I was like, I might have just like sat down. But the minute I saw fingers going up her, I just knew that it was wrong because I wouldn't want to be, sometimes you might have had too much to drink sometimes, and someone just starts to pull you about and do stuff. Initially you would think, okay. Because when she was dancing, initially she was just going like stupid, and the boys they were slamming her up and down and just.
Do you know what? This is the stuff that happens that people are not aware of.
Yes.
Like if you didn't have that dream.
Yes.
I'm a dreamer, so I understand prophetic dreams and I'm still figuring it out. But when you do get those dreams, they seem so real, and then you see it happening. It's always a sign, and I think that's the way that God uses us to try and help people. Imagine if you weren't there.
Yes, if I didn't go to that party.
Imagine if you decided not to go. Do you know what I mean? And there's so many guys, and this is obviously I'm just digressing a little bit, but we'll talk about it later. Is where guys do this thing where they over sexualize women. They treat women like sexual objects, and it's all it's just
I feel like they do these little things to like test the waters.
They blame
the waters,
and they blame the women because like you were just saying, you're having to contemplate these things in your head. Oh, maybe she's the one who wants it, or maybe, and that's what people do. They say, oh well, why did she go there, and why is she flinging herself all over if she didn't want it?
Pussy on people's faces.
This
like
is what I'm saying.
Boys will stand, and maybe they're standing, she'll be trying to climb up them to dance, and then maybe someone sitting down, she will bring her ass on their face and go. I was like, excuse me, what's happening? And that's why I was already very irritated by her. So that's why when they were doing all that to her boobs, I was irritated, like, why is she doing this? It was the minute I saw that finger going and I saw the way she was like,
then you remember
she was kind of like lifeless at that point. And that's when I saw, oh my god.
So why do you think you have those dreams? Because I feel like those dreams, this is just an opinion. I feel like things happen to us when we're younger or like adults, whatever, and we don't deal with them, and it becomes something like a dream, or like if you let me land. And if you noticed the same similar or the same thing happening to someone else, immediately you're like defending yourself, defending that person, but you're defending them yourself because you're thinking you had a dream.
That does happen.
It does happen, but that's not what it is, because my dream is not always about something like that.
But sorry to cut you in, but I hear what you're saying, because essentially when you think of the mind, we kind of sometimes think of it surface level as just the thoughts that come through our head.
Yeah.
But there is your conscious mind, there's your subconscious mind. So yes, in situations like that, and I'm not saying this is you as, you know, that's what you were thinking, but you could have been acting from a place of, okay, that happened to me, nobody saved me, so I need to go and help her.
You become the superhero because those situations
No, it's not the entirety.
That
doesn't mean that for me, it doesn't mean that that's the, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that that is the entirety, the entire meaning of the dream, but it's one of the contributing factors pertaining to the person who it is. For me, like I can relate. So I can relate on the dream side, and I can relate from a side of, well, that happened to me when I was younger, because I was molested when I was younger by
me too.
a family member, and it's only been over the last 2 years that I've actually started to go back into that and see how it's contributed to my behaviour and certain choices that I've made. But it is where a lot of people could operate from a place of, you know, I've experienced this. I know exactly what it's like to feel violated, especially sexually, and have you haven't given your consent. And even under the influence of alcohol, there is things that we do, but you're that's why they call it under the influence, because you're not completely
entirely in control
of your behavior, your thinking. So you could just be acting sporadically, right? To me, the psychology behind the girl dancing means everything. She wants to have a good time. It clearly shows that there's a need for
attention,
joy, a need for attention, relationships, a need for feeling valued. Because this is what most girls do.
Because you didn't do that. You didn't. You went out there.
For the first time, I was actually the sitting girl the whole party.
What was the music not banging?
No, I think it was the drugs I saw that kind of just pulled me off. Yeah, it got to one. There was actually 1 or 2 songs that they played, and I was sitting, I just stood up at that point and just did 1 or 2 and sat back down. But the normal me, I would be in the middle of the place and just making the whole place a mess, you know. And when I pulled her away, and I started looking for a friend, I saw her outside. I was like, "What are you doing outside? You know your friend is a mess, and you're in, you know." And she's like, "I said, listen, they're putting fingers up her. You need to take her home." And she took her home, right? And immediately after that, I picked my bag and I went, because I knew that she was coming back with police.
And I think that, like, back to your question, why do we have these dreams? From a spiritual perspective, because I come from a Christian faith, but understanding, like, the spirituality of who we are. Like, we are spirit, soul, and body in it. We can't ignore that as human beings, point blank. So when there's certain things in life that we always have a logical solution for. You got a physical problem, find a physical solution. You got an emotional problem, find an emotional solution. If you have a spiritual problem, what are you gonna do? You can't deal with it as a physical or emotional. You have to exactly, and that's why I believe personally, from having so many dreams, because there's times when I can't lie. It's one of that area where I have a dream, I go and tell someone that it's trial and error. It's still figuring it out, still working it out, because it is from the supernatural realm. I think God's because sometimes it's like they won't. How would they believe you?
You don't realize what it is.
Imagine if she told the girl what she saw in the dream. The girl would be thinking she's mad. First of all, the girl could even switch on her and try and fight her.
Will also be freaked out.
Because they're thinking, hold on, what kind of dopey woman is this? Like, where are you coming from?
Do you know me?
They'll start saying,
Nigerian juju, this, that. Literally, like, there was a time I had a dream, that I was traveling to Nigeria, and that I landed in Cameroon for some reason. Sorry, Côte d'Ivoire. And what's this place called? Cotonou. Where I landed. Cotonou is in Republic of Benin.
Oh, Benin. Okay.
I don't even know where Benin is.
Benin Republic. I landed there, and when I got there, my luggage, everything was open. People are taking my clothes, my money, because I kept my money, like the pounds in the box.
And this isn't a dream.
And someone had opened the box and taken my money, taking everything. And I'm thinking to myself, what would I go and look for in Cotonou? Me? For what? And then recently, my friend was trying to go back to Nigeria because she came here for tourists, and she got stuck because of COVID. And so eventually, when everything was open, she was going to go back. There was no flights to Lagos. And then she found one to Cotonou, and I was like, hey, this is it. Oh, it was not me in the dream, it was you. All this is that you're taking with you, everything, they will open it and they'll take it away. I said, don't attempt it. See, I said, I'm telling you that don't have time. She said, she doesn't understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I said, listen, when I had the dream, I told myself, what will I look for there?
Yeah.
And who do I know that's going to go there? This is
especially now, people are not working, people are not getting money.
Do you get? And this is you that is now going there. Obviously, it was you who was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
I said, if you go, the people that will steal your stuff, they'll be looking at you in your face and ask you what you can do about it. You won't even have money to take cab from there to go to Lagos. You won't have that kind of money because me, I didn't have money to go in my dream. Do you get? So I said, you will cry bitterly if you go to Cotonou. She was like, what am I talking about? Eventually, she had to look for another flight. She found another one going to Abuja. Abuja is in Nigeria as well. So she found the one going to Abuja. But when I think about him, like, I saw that thing in the dream just so I can warn her.
Yes.
Because if I didn't,
but that's an amazing gift to have.
Yeah, if I didn't see it, because I saw it with myself in it.
Yeah, little
right?
did you know
but
it wasn't
was not
you.
For me, it was for someone else.
Yeah.
But you won't know who the person is until it's happening.
Yeah.
Listen,
right.
That whole avenue when it comes down to
who it is,
spirituality, because I'm probably thinking you're thinking, how does sex correlate into it? Because how is that a spiritual problem, right? If you think of how perverted sex has become in this world in general,
pour some oil on yourself and twerk on the video. Like, what the
but a lot of people think surface level, right?
Yeah.
So I understand you when you say it's hard to go explain to other people, because I had dreams where I've had all kinds of dreams, but when I started having dreams and having orgasms in my dreams and waking up and feeling like I can't breathe, feeling like, sleep paralysis, where it feels like somebody's pressing down on your chest, and then your eyes open, but you can't move.
Yeah.
You feel stuck. Listen, I have had some perverted dreams, bro. And people could say that because when I was molested, I didn't know that I was molested.
Yes.
What do you think it was?
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
I just thought, okay, 1 minute I was playing, next minute I was doing, this person was making me do this sexual thing, and then next minute I went to the toilet, I peed, and then I came back and I started playing again. Like, I didn't understand it. As a child,
nobody told you about it.
In my memory, thank God I've got a good memory. Like, in my father's side, my great grandma, who's 104, she can remember everything. So in our family, we've got this good memory thing going on, right? So I remember, bear in mind, the person who did it, I would always speak to, I would still talk to.
Even after?
Yes. Because this is the thing,
you go to their house,
they molested me. Molestation is where you, what's even the true definition? Molestation is basically where you're perverting someone's mind. You're doing it with disguise, grooming, whatever it is. And even if it's because in my memory, I remember it being short, for a short period of time. I remember the whole thing. I remember it being for a short period of time, but I knew it was wrong. I felt like I was being violated, but I thought, that person is my, I care about that person. Yeah, I love that person. Feel like it was wrong. That person loves me.
How old was the person?
Family. At the time, I think they were a teenager.
And how old
they were
was?
like in their 30s. They were like a proper uncle.
But I was in primary school age.
I was in primary school.
I can't remember exactly how old. I don't know if I was 7.
I think I was in JS1 actually, secondary school. First year.
Or JS1 is like year 7? Yeah.
It was year 7.
Or like the first year in secondary school.
Okay, yeah, I was about that. First year, second year. And I was really young because I went to secondary school really early. So I think I was in secondary school at 9 or 10. I was 9 when I was in JS. I was in like year 7, I was like 9.
Yeah.
And then year 8, I was like 10. Because obviously I went to, I was like 10 when that happened. Because if I remember very clearly, at 13, I was already in senior secondary school 1. So that's the 4th year in secondary school.
Okay.
So I was already 13 at that point. So.
And this is the thing, like when you go back to your childhood, unless there's a specific thing like a birthday or something that happened, and you might be able to picture what age you were. I can't remember
what age.
Exactly,
yes.
But I know it was definitely back home in Uganda, and it was in the comfort of my family home, and I don't know where my mother was. All I know is I was left with this other person, and like you can
take advantage.
First of all, you can even get left with older cousins, by the way.
Yeah.
Nobody, like I've got friends who told me stories. Maybe it was like somebody who was, but they were, it was always like they're of quote unquote age,
Yeah.
But then at
Well,
the
they
same time,
knew what they
still
were doing.
Yeah.
They knew
This
what
one
they
was
were
a proper
doing.
adult.
Yeah,
This was
quote, unquote.
he was about getting married. He already like.
Because
was
we
engaged to
assume that
somebody.
we assume that by teenage years, especially when it comes down to males, we assume they know what they're doing, and I don't know why, but somehow I've always grown up thinking that boys teach
I
sex.
think rather than saying they knew what they were doing, I would say they didn't know any better.
Yeah, but
I feel like for them,
better.
they had these hormones happening with them, like you're talking about teenagers. Yeah.
Hence why I'm trying to use they didn't know they did better. Whereas your situation is different.
No, listen, if I was to talk about being molested, we're gonna have a few days. Right? we're gonna have the whole day talking about it. And they're different people. Yeah, I had the teenagers actually that did them, but when I look at it, if I look back now, I'm like, at that age they have these hormones and they're just so used to it. Now they're trying to become sexually active and they're thinking about how to do it. And the easiest way for them to do it is just to find somebody to do it with, and then they find this little cousin that's a girl and has a hole and they just want to put something through it. And they just find themselves doing like weird things. That's for those ones that are like teenagers. But I can't explain it for someone that's in his 30s, right? Like this man proper put fingers in me. Damn. Right? And he would feed me like beer. So that I'm proper like, I don't feel the pain as much. It's afterwards I start feeling the sore. Like, something like, but you don't find yourself telling anybody about it.
Yeah,
and I think that's where we know that something wrong happened.
Yeah.
If we actually thought it was normal, we'd tell somebody. Because I was like 4 when I was first molested. I was like 4. Some cousin of mine lay me and just on top of me used this penis to just rub my pussy. So when my mom came back, I was like, Mom, I learned a new game. So I took my teddy and I remember showing my mom. Imagine that kind of memory at 4. You remember something like that? I brought
No, that was at 4.
That was the first person that
at 4 years old.
4 years old.
Girl,
oh my
that
God.
is shocking to you. You'd be surprised to know how infants get molested.
Yes.
Even children inside
oh
the
my
womb.
God.
That's a topic.
Okay. Whoa. In the womb.
Yes,
there are men that are perverted by pregnant women.
Girl.
When you're pregnant, they want to sleep with a woman that's pregnant for a girl so that they, just to touch the child from the inside.
Touch the child from inside. So it basically, when it comes down to that whole avenue of sex, it's a big territory because we think we're just knocking 2 sexual organs together and having fun, getting endorphins, feeling great. Spiritually, because that is something God created for us to enjoy. Remember, through that a baby can be conceived, like a whole human with a brain, with nerves, with this. You know what I mean? There's a whole spiritual realm that God that I think He designed. I know He designed entirely for us to enjoy.
Yeah.
However, we live in a realm where there is good and evil, and we have to face the reality that there is an evil realm that does not want anything of God to prosper or for us to flourish and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
So sex was created. God made it as fun for us.
Yeah.
But then we forget to go to Him and ask Him about those type of stuff. And even, for example, churches or other religions don't.
A church wouldn't tell you anything.
They do. Girl, I don't know what churches you know, but I know plenty.
Well, because it just doesn't strike me as something that they talk about. I've never heard anything
in the Bible. It does say, from when it comes to that whole sexual immorality, flee from it, right? Yeah. So people usually talk about the negative more than they do the positive, yeah? So if you know that there's some serious dangers in a certain area, people become fearful and then they teach that fear to other people. Whereas it was initially supposed to be something that is open to discuss in the church because God created it. However, under the sacred of marriage. Yeah. Under the sacred of
I think maybe that's why in church they don't talk about it.
But you know what, in the Bible there was no actual wedding. Marriage is actually 2 people coming together and deciding to live together with God, yeah? So I think living relationships, I don't like living relationships, I won't lie to you. I'm not for it. I don't want to do it. But I feel like that's a kind of marriage as well. The only difference is that it's not like events.
Okay, do you know about soul ties, babe?
Tell me.
So when you're having sex with somebody that you're not necessarily, equally. Well, I don't want to go on
equally yoked.
Yeah, equally yoked is a good way because it's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
But in simple terms, when you're having sex outside of a covenant with God, outside of a protection spiritually, that has good purpose
yeah.
for that protection, then anything can happen. So essentially, when when they say, Adam and Eve were one, or, when you get married, you become one. When you join sexual organs together, your whole souls join
together. Yeah.
And so,
which is actually
your emotions.
Marriage,
now, if you've gone through a whole heap of trauma, and then you go sleep with somebody who hasn't, guess what?
The person's gonna get some trauma.
You're passing this spiritually, but because in the surface level, it shows up on the surface level, right? Now,
I feel like I should get my notebook and start writing down this stuff.
But this is stuff that people don't delve into.
Yes.
People don't talk about sex from a spiritual standpoint, because if it's not church people who think they're too good or they're too proud and they're perfect because they're just married and other people are not married and they're having sex outside, there's always something that prohibits us from having these healthy conversations and from being taught. So I know church I go to, if I go to my leaders with a sexual matter issue, they're gonna talk to me. Do you know what I mean? Because essentially it's such a it's
but how does the conversation go? Because I used to go to church and I've never heard a sermon that that has anything to do with sex.
Yeah, I think that
they talk about marriage and union and all that.
That's what it is. The thing is, a lot of times, with churches, there's a lot of hypocritical thing going on there. Yeah, there's this whole holier than thou kind of thing happening, and a lot of churches want to portray that they're perfect or they're clean and pure, and they don't want to bring up topics
and they judge people who don't live life like maybe what they think is right.
So that's why
essentially there is hit and miss. Obviously, I go to a church, my church. I go there, I have heard them talk about it, but not in necessarily a setting where it's let's just go and now start saying it, because kids might walk by. There's been times where on a Sunday it's been spoken about, and obviously spoken about in a way that is very mindful of the people, how they're going to receive it, because you can hear a wrong message and you can leave with offense. You can, it depends where people are at in their own lives as well. But then when I've been in the women's type of groups, where it's
this is still at church,
there's I don't know entirely now, because I can't swear by that, because the church sometimes is very self-sufficient, so they run different things here, whatever. But one thing I do know is that whenever it comes down to the whole marriage talk, it is normally one of those things where it's hi, there's a safe space, number one, for us to talk about relationships in general. Now obviously it's down to what level, because you can have teenagers that are there that they could hear something and think, oh well, this is good, and then you go out and you see a situation, you can't discern properly and make good judgment, so you think, oh, but God made sex, God said sex is good, but then this boy he loves me, he's got all these good qualities, he said he likes God, so he says, why should he wait, marriage is just a paper, marriage is just a certificate. So she will be probably weighing up the options and be well, might as well just have sex, because she has taken the message and not necessarily known what to do with it. So that's why some churches are very careful, but they do encourage them, come and talk to us. Do you know what I mean? Don't deal with these struggles yourself, and it's up to us to break out that.
When you say to people, come and talk to us, people deal with things differently. For instance, me, I will go and talk to some pastor and say to him, oh yeah, I'm having sex troubles. No, I'm not going to do it.
I feel like you'll use me as an example.
Do you get me? But you see, a lot of times I've heard people, pastors talk about sex as being wedding talks, when they're saying, sleep with your wife everywhere in the house, christen every corner of the house. And listen, I buy into that. If I buy a new house and I'm married, well, the children are away, I'm christening every corner of the house with our spirit. Yes. So that there's part of us everywhere.
This is the thing.
And then for the first year,
do you see how risky it is? Because I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying, do you see how risky it is?
That kind of thing.
Because now, imagine going and talking about that on a Sunday. You can't go in, because especially you have an understanding.
No, but weddings also have younger kids, so I can see how they can. Especially some kids are way too mature for their age, so they're ooh, what did you say?
What I'm saying,
Kristen?
rather than because rather than deal with those little things you can deal with after you get married. Do you understand? But when you get married, you're gonna hit a whole load of problems anyway that you have to work through. So it's easier to talk about the covenant. It's easier to talk about the covering that marriage gives you. Like, why is it when you go into God, why is it safe?
Yeah.
Why is sex safe? I trust now, Pauline, after making several mistakes and experiencing sex outside of marriage, brother, I know now I'm not risking it for anybody. My spirit has to say safe, same. This will
Are you practicing celibacy?
I would say abstinence, because I believe that celibacy is more like I can just do without sex forever, whereas abstinence is like I will wait until I feel safe and God has got my back. I need a divine confirmation. I just need the shelter that God provides me in it. He's got good promises for me and he's got good intentions for me. So why the hell am I going to do that outside? I've been abused. I've been raped whilst being in a relationship. Like,
by the same partner?
Yes. I've faced sexual assault, violence, whatever you want to call it. It's enough that I've gone through for me to say, I trust God's way now. But each to their own. Because it's a journey and it's about experience. It teaches you certain things. Your experience with sex is not going to be the same as anyone else's. Yeah. It's going to be maybe similar.
You might have similar things that happen to all of you, but the way you deal with it is different. Yeah. Like, I remember that after I got raped, for a few years, I couldn't open my body to anybody. Do you get, like, it's not like I had self-hate or anything, but every time I attempted to have sex, I would bleed.
How old were you? And why were you having sex?
I was not a child. I was old.
Okay. Because now I'm thinking you
knew me.
Okay.
The thing is, people didn't know. I like to talk about sex a lot. Yeah. Because I'm very crazy. Stupid,
she's very sensual.
Yeah, well, doesn't mean that I have a lot of sex. Yeah, it's just that I enjoy the topic. Yeah, do you get? Like, I don't care where it goes. Is it the good part, the bad side, the spiritual bit of it? I just like to talk about it because I feel like it's a way where two people actually come and connect, and it's very important. I like connection so much.
It has its benefits.
Yes, do you get? And also orgasm. I love orgasms. You see, but what happened when that happened to me after the rape? My head, my brain did something, and every time I attempted it, I didn't have sex for like 2 years, and then when I finally said I was ready and I attempted it, I would bleed. Initially, I thought it was because I was tight or whatever again. I was like, oh my god, virgin again, yay! And then the next time it happened again, and I kept asking myself, what is this thing? Yeah, and then I was like, what is it? And then eventually I found out that it was my brain sending that
message.
Trauma. Yeah. So basically, what your brain does, your subconscious mind, anytime that it gets into a future or present reality that is similar to a past reality, it just acts the same way. So, like, for example, like you just mentioned,
it's like you're traumatized.
It's taking you back. It's replaying. It's replaying it's replaying exactly what you went through.
Yes.
Because it's like a computer. If you put a setting on a computer, if you program it a certain way, it's gonna run a certain way. Yeah. So now, if you see something, all it takes is, remember, our gateways are our eyes, smell, sense of smell, taste, hearing, and feeling. Yeah. So if somebody, like even me, I don't like when there's little triggers, like for example, men shouting at me. I don't like it. I can't take it. I don't care who you are, my cousin, my uncle's friend. I don't know.
Where does that come from though?
Because of trauma.
Okay, but like what happened? What happened?
Because of basically I went through a domestic violence relationship with my children's father. So that trauma can replay itself in the present if I do have a man shouting at me. So I remember having a disagreement with one of my family members. Not a disagreement, I was trying to have a conversation with one of my family members. And he's a male, and I literally had good intentions. I was trying to get my words out, but as soon as he heard something, I don't know, it triggered him. He went into an episode of shouting at me. I went through a moment where I went through a panic attack. So I started to notice my body shaking from my feet everywhere. Everything was just Sorry, I'm obviously imitating it.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
What I'm feeling now is what I felt then, because I'm now talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's what your brain does. It replays the exact same scenario, even within a present situation.
Yeah, even when it's
so
not what you're going
he
through.
is my family member, but he's shouting at me. Now my mind is freezing. It's gone blank. My body's shaking. So basically, go through my setting like how we're sitting down here, and then I'm feeling this in my body, but he don't get it. So I put my legs up. I clench. Put my kind of chest.
This is with your family member.
I brought my knees upwards towards my chest because this is. I think it had happened to me before, and I knew I didn't like it, so I just developed a coping mechanism. So if I have a panic attack again, I know what to do. So I just instinctively brought my knees up to my chest, held my knees, head down, to keep my body close, so that I don't feel like I'm gonna.
Explode.
I don't feel like I'm now gonna start either falling on the floor. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like obviously facing it by myself alone, it's not nice. So I'm scared, and he's just shouting and shouting. Then he said to me, "So what you think? You think you doing this is gonna make me any feel sorry for you? Do you think you?" He's judging my panic attack.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I'm having a panic attack right there. You're judging my panic attack.
And
so
obviously,
I can
because
hear
you must
him.
have had that before. Someone said that to you before. It would make it double.
Bro, if you knew, he slammed my door. I heard the net because I live in a ground floor flat with a garden. So I hear him go out the main door, go through the garden, the front garden. I hear him in the car skidding.
Yeah.
You know when somebody's doing a quick turn, they don't want to do a 3-point. They're gonna go. Like it was obviously they did a 3-point. Sorry, he did a 3-point turn, and I can hear the tires from inside my yard. So my senses were very alert, you know, and in that moment, it took me back to that trauma. So these are things that most people, I think, just because of the type of person I am, I'm very deep anyway. So I like to analyze why I behave why is this happening to me. I'm always inquisitive about things. So I did call him back, and I called him back after about maybe 5 minutes, because then now he's left. The shouting is gone. So
I'm just thinking,
the panic attack is dying down. I'm starting to. So I reached for the phone, and my thing is damage control, because, brother, what I was saying wasn't even supposed to hurt you anyway. I'm here trying to have a conversation with you where I'm not attacking you, but you're hearing something else.
I think, hold on, I'm not disregarding your story at all. I'm just thinking, like, you see how you had something that triggered you to get into the episode. He also had something that triggered him, and it is something that he has probably experienced in the past that got him thinking every
damn person walking on this road has some kind of
trigger. Yeah.
Even
you just never know.
Say something here
and
now
that's
that Pauline is gonna go.
That's literally what happened.
You just say that to me, and I'm like,
that's literally what happened. Is that I was talking, I was trying to explain. Maybe the words just came out the wrong way. All he heard was
exact words he's been heard.
You know, some people's triggers are just not talking.
Someone said to me.
Well, first of all, he doesn't express himself anyway. He doesn't necessarily have an open way of expressing what's going on with him. He does it. He channels it a different way, right? So I know him. I know who the type of person he is. I know the way he operates. So I'm not surprised that he was triggered. Because I can see the root of the issue rather than just the surface level of you're just shouting at me. However, you shouting at me, my body is doing something else. I can consciously understand.
Yeah, but he doesn't know.
He doesn't know this. That's my point.
Yeah, but he knows when he's going to go home, because people are aware of what they do. When you've done something wrong, you will always be aware of it. You can just either choose to justify it, accept it, or talk about it, whatever. But normally, even
at that
in
point,
the
it's
moment,
supposed to have stopped. Because when you see someone do that, the person's obviously scared of something, and you're like, I'm not even coming closer. Why is she scared? Why is she scared? You need to stop at that point and be like, excuse me, am I hurting you? I didn't even touch you. Why are you scared of me? Am I a monster or something? And at that point, what would have happened? It would de-escalate what is happening with her. Yeah. And then maybe come down to a point she'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, it's not about you, but it's just like your shouting is doing that to me.
I think also, like, in this world that we live in, what I've learned, I've had conversations with people where it has gone left. When I say left, like, It started out nice and it ended the left. Like someone almost dying, someone almost getting, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've learned, like, you never know what someone's trigger is, like you said. And also just, like, be wary. Like, any little thing that triggers you, it can trigger someone else.
Yes.
Like, and so when you're talking to someone, be mindful. But then again, that kind of puts you on edge about talking to someone.
You can't walk on eggshells.
No.
It's a skill.
But so I'm not walking around on eggshells. I'm just aware. So if I'm talking to you and you go and hiss a fit about something, I'm like, okay, so I said something.
Then I'll leave it. Yeah.
I'm like, so I said something. So I'll just like, you know what,
Yeah,
Denise,
that's
mwah, love you.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there.
That's different from you not, like, actually not saying what you feel when you're feeling.
No, but it means I need to take a break.
At that point, you need to stop.
I need to stop and take a break.
You need to remember that, you know, you need to let things out, or else.
Oh no! When I say take a break, remember I said take a break. Yeah. I'm coming back for you. Okay. Yeah. I'm just taking a break because right now I said something that kind of puts you off.
Yeah.
So I need to come back to you when you're ready. I'm like, listen, I didn't mean whatever I said. I don't know what I said. Maybe you can help me. But this is what I meant.
As simple as someone saying to me, "It pain or it pain." That thing triggered me so much. I didn't believe, like, something small like that. Why would it trigger me? And then it brought back to what the guy said to me after he finished raping. He's like, "It pain now." Do you get? So when he said that,
what does that mean?
it's like
pigeon.
so it's like,
oh yeah, sorry, I don't
pained
speak.
you. Do you get, like
it really hurt
like,
you.
Right, it hurt you.
Like
It burnt
violently.
you. Like, what I did to you hurt you. Good.
So it's like
Like
he did it on
good.
purpose.
Yeah, like
Do you
good.
get? So
Now
that
you
was a
feel
statement.
the punishment or whatever he was trying to say, basically.
Do you get? So when he did
So you're
that,
like, that's evil.
my point. When he said that, it didn't register at that point that was going to be a problem. But then my friend, a female friend, we were having a conversation about something, and then she just used that word, and I went mad. I just started shouting at her, "Don't you say that to me no more." She said it again. I said, "Stop saying it." She said it again. I said, "Stop saying it." And she was like, "Why are you shouting? You never really said that now." I was like, it actually has gone to that point. Like someone else said something small, like, "I'm taking my time. I'm taking my time to get feelings." And it triggered me.
That's the end of part 2. Tune in next time for the final part of the conversation with Kathy and Bernice. Thank you so much for supporting and listening to TGO Podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and following our social media, and that's at TGO Podcast. Thank you so much, and please leave a comment and send us your feedback. Thank you again so much, and we'll catch you very soon. Bye bye.